Study how the whole book will look. Rob Liefeld has a cool podcast called Robservations. He talks about cool comic book making tips. On one episode, he talked about how Walt Simonson said that he could tell that Rob knew what the page looked like, but he said that pretty soon he'll be able to see in his mind what the whole book would look like. Archive.org is an internet archive, a non-profit library of millions of free books. And sometimes you can search books and they will give you links to PDFs that you could possibly download. I also found this app called 2Page PDF. It's free and it's a pretty cool app. So let's pop it open. On here it says choose PDF. Wow, that's weird. I have a Dark Knight Returns PDF. That's so strange. So you can switch to cover page. You can start to look and see how he laid out the page, the book, you know. And so you can go through and you can see that, like, okay, all right, the first page he's building tension with the tightness of the shots, and then whenever he changes scenery or changes location, he breaks open the space, so visually you can kind of take in that setting change, you know. It's like, okay, now we tighten up and tighten up and tighten up, and then we expand at him walking down the street. So it kind of breaks up the page for you subliminally when you're going through this. You can kind of see this stuff, and this is what I'm paying attention to. He kind of does like 4x4. He does a lot of that stuff, and he, of course, does the skinny stuff they did on Daredevil comics. And every now and then he'll do awesome stuff with lettering, but then he'll bust open a big page of Batman, you know. Like, he'll tighten it up with the super skinny panels, you know. And then he'll bust open for the nice cityscape, you know. And, you know, you just have a big shot, you know, now and then, you know, it makes it more impactful. So, you know, it's good to keep this stuff in mind. You know, possibly this helps, possibly it doesn't. I don't know. This is what I've been working on in my head, looking at lately. I've also been making panel templates because I'm really not satisfied with the comic templates that they have. And so I'm going through, like, my favorite comics, and I'm trying to divide the ones into the commonly used ones that you can use over and over again, and it doesn't look too stylized, but it's kind of like nice and pleasing to the eyes. What got me into thinking about layouts is knowing that Kirby would do a lot of that stuff where he'd have preset panels, because he'd have the single frame, the 2s and 2s. He would do like a 4 split. That way, if he needed a 4 panels in that sheet, he'd just grab that from that pile. There's a 6, there's a 4, and then a single on the bottom. You just probably flipped it upside down. So then you go to other stuff such as Ghost World. For instance, the first chapter, it's like 1, 2, 3, right? And then it goes 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, right? It's probably a lot easier to grab if you have it all set up. 2, 3, 2, and then 2, 2, 2. All right, that's classic. And then a 2, 3, 2 again. So, and then I noticed Invincible has a couple things like that too. There's a 1, 3, 1 that he uses sometimes. There's a 1, 3, 1, except for that one that on the bottom is a little bit longer for the impact. There's a 3, 2, 1. There's a 1, a double up, and then a 1. Whatever you want to call that. There's a giant with the 3. So that might be one that you can use. There's a group of 4, or 4. There's a even 3, right? And then in the back here, he has a 3, but he has more room for the top impactful panels. There's a 3, 1, 3, you know. And I noticed some stuff in The Walking Dead as well. There's a 332, right? There's the 133. It's a 133, right? And he opens it up, does some more experimental stuff with the back panel being exposed, so he has the drop part in there. And then he opens it up there. Then here's another 333, right? So I don't know if he has them separated, but it might be helpful if you do have it separated. Here's a 1, 2, 3, right? Here's a 1, 3, 1. Here's a 1, 3, 3. Here's a 3, 1, 3, right? 1, 3, 3. Mr. Dogman, I'm sure he probably doesn't have his own stuff separated, but for sure it's like, 2, 2, 1. 1 split off there. 2, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. I don't know, maybe I'm just going crazy looking at this stuff, but if you don't have the guts to get yourself together to make a comic, you can prepare for when you're making a comic. So in Inkscape, I have this master sheet. I had made it 11 by 17, and then I got the image. I've got this blue line thing, so I kind of lined that up, and then extra tip I wanted to tell you guys, like you can, I talked about it before with the union stuff. I'll show you that again. But if you have a square, an easy way to line these things up so you don't have to like measure all these things perfectly, you duplicate this square, all right? So let's duplicate that thing. And let's move it up above it barely. We want to barely, let's see if I can get that out without. All right, see how that closes it? All right, now it barely is open right there. Okay, now that's your line there, right? So you can keep doing that. I got a 4, I got a 5 somewhere. You can line them up by 3s, but you can, let me hit shift, so I gotta use my other finger here. Hit shift so you can select both of them, right? Or 5 or whatever you wanna do. And so now you can go to object, go to group, and now you can rotate that too if you wanted to, But now if I wanted to like split this into 2, I can just drag that over and make sure that it's like, lined up. Oh, enjoy your eyes in your young 20s, because it's not good when you get older. All right, so you get that lined up there. Then you can drag that up there. And now you can drag over this line here. And as long as you make that centered right there, like in between, like kind of eyeball it a little bit, that's your half mark there. So you don't have to totally like worry about doing the math there, because this is like a guide that can just go around. And then what I also like to do, just to double check my work, is I'll grab a square, and then I'll just make sure that this thing, I'll line that up there, and then I'll just drag it to this side just to check and make sure that it's even, and then if I have that even, it's just to check your work, then I can like slide that around or whatever. Anyway, that's a cool tip I wish I would have heard of before, but so I'm passing that along to you guys. If you wanted to like figure out how to split things equally, you can use the square group method, Anyway, so then I'm going through my comics, and then after I get it all set up how I want, I select the outer. I showed it in videos before, but in case you didn't watch it, you can drag a box there with white with the. I should probably just do it, but drag a box there, and then you can go to path in union, so then it forms this big box. And I don't care about this all jagged stuff on the outside, because I only have to click on this page button, and it's only going to do the page. It's gonna this whole page image thing. So I set that up for 11 by 17. So now let me go to object path, and go to union, and watch this. Pink, right? Okay. And it's cool. You can still, if you messed up, you can still like click this button here, and you can like measure the, like mess with the points too if you wanted to. So then what I do at this point, I go to page, and you have to make sure you click on page again, otherwise it's gonna have that crap on it all over the sides. And then you click on the where you want to save it, right? So where do I want to save this? All right, let's pretend I clicked on that. All right, and then you have to click on export after that, and then that will drag this status bar across, and then it'll go into the file that you selected. And so then if whatever program you want to use later, you can just drag these in, and it's saved as a PNG file, because then when you drag this over, alright, so if I drag this into GIMP, right, see that has the checkerboards, because it saved this as just this part layer with this open there. Add another layer down there, and you could already like draw your art out, you know, before, or even color the background just so you can see it. Then you can add your whatever art. Different layer. So then let's say you fill that in. Now I could like move the art around, you know, inside the window. So that's what you can do with the PNG files. It's just, this comic thing is very vast, and there's so many aspects to it, and so you got to keep hunting it down. You got to keep after it, you know. So keep it going, guys. Don't give up, and keep making comics. All right.